Hi, it's Sean, and you're listening to The 3-Month Vacation. If there's one month that I won't travel in, it's December. Every crazy person is trying to get on a flight. The airports are chocker, and the prices of hotels are sky high. So why am I bringing up December? It's because I got a message on Facebook. On Messenger, someone asked me whether I would come to Thailand and make a presentation. And I was willing to go, but not in December, which is why we ended up there in August. August seemed a lot more sane. It's the rainy season across Asia, and all of those sun-loving tourists head to Europe or to the islands like Fiji. August, I said to him over chat, August will be perfect. This is how we travel in general. We avoid crowds, and when we land in cities, we often find luxury accommodation at least 2 to 3 hours from most tourist centers. Let all the others have their fill of monuments and tourist sites. We just want to eat, drink, sleep, paint, and photograph. However, it's the brain audit that got us on this trip to Thailand in the Monsoon. Released in 2002, it has always been in English, except now it was going to be in Thai. This takes us to the first part, which is 500 copies and one very surprised publisher. Imagine you show up at an event expecting to sell fewer than 100 books, and then you sell out everything that you have. This was the situation in Bangkok, Thailand. After putting off the trip for well over a year, we decided to go to Thailand and speak at the event. Now, I don't care for social media very much, but the person who promoted the event did so on Facebook. And though there were 350 seats, it sold out in just a few hours. This unusual sellout of tickets probably got the attention of the publisher. The Brain Audit was being launched in Thailand, but like all published books, it takes months for the books to see the light of day. However, because of this singular event, the publisher decided to rush the entire print run. They stayed up all night to make sure there were enough copies, but they weren't expecting much. Until, that is, the participants started buying 5, 10, even 16 copies at a time. This surge of buying also took us by surprise. We had hoped to spur the sales and told the organizer to make an announcement. We said that the first 20 people to buy 3 books would also get a free copy of our next book, which was Suddenly Talented. But before the announcement could even be made, all the bonus copies of Suddenly Talented had been snapped up. The audience wanted their books signed as well. I tend not to just sign a book. I draw a cartoon too, a giraffe, a whale, maybe an elephant. This slowed down things quite considerably. What started out as a short queue soon snaked out of the door, went to the landing, and then outside the building. And there was a slight problem as well. Someone started asking a question. They said, "Oh, can I ask you a little question?" Now, I love questions, but in this case, it had a domino effect. Suddenly, everyone wanted to ask just one question. So now every person wanted 3 things: a signature with a message, a cartoon, and a question to be answered. The publisher watched all of this with an expression that moved from surprise to delight. They didn't expect to sell more than 100 copies at a single event. To sell 500 in one afternoon was, by their own account, almost unheard of. By the time the dust had settled, they were already asking about the Thai rights to the next book, Suddenly Talented. Within weeks, The Brain Audit was at the top of the bestseller list in Thailand, which was strange for us because we have never chased bestseller lists or put any effort into promoting a book, at least in the traditional sense. When it first came out in 2002, clients were insistent that I should do a book tour. Now, they weren't wrong, but being a well-known author wasn't my goal. I wasn't prepared to travel across the length of a country to promote a book. I was happy if a small group of people across the world found the book quite by accident, and then used it, which is what happened. Because greater fame, more books, that's all nice to have, but it wasn't completely essential for us. And the Brain Audit has done just that. The English edition has kept us busy, it has kept us well fed, and yet there we were in Thailand selling a book in a completely different language that we never expected, even in our wildest dreams. But we were in Thailand not just to promote a book, not just to do some work, but we were there to have fun. And somebody on this trip, his name is Ta, he was very serious about us having fun. So let's hear the story of Ta. In my mind, there's a big difference between people who are friendly and those who are warm. Friendliness is lovely to have. But countries that have existed for thousands of years, they have a sense of warmth. This warmth is mostly seen when you have to deal with a stranger. In a friendly environment, the stranger is a nice person to know, you have a chat with them, and then you say goodbye. In a warm environment, the stranger immediately becomes a guest, a welcome guest. When you visit someone in Thailand, you're never a stranger. You're treated with a lavishness of care that most modern cultures just don't have. And this sense of warmth was embedded in Ta. We'd moved north from Bangkok and we were in the city of Chiang Mai. That's when Ta suggested that we visit his hometown, which is in Chiang Rai, about 3 hours away. "I will be your host and you will be my guests," he said to us. We were close enough, and Chiang Rai seemed like a nice place to explore, so we booked a 3-night stay, only to find that Ta had changed his plans. He wasn't going to meet us after all. He informed us that he had to attend a family event, a wedding, during exactly those 3 days. We were a bit annoyed, but it didn't seem like a big deal. However, Ta was having none of it. He decided his role as host was more important than anything else. Here is what Ta did. He drove 3 hours from Chiang Rai to Chiang Mai to meet us anyway. Then he took us on a full day out, not the tourist version of the day out, but his version. I had mentioned that I wanted to see a rice mill. I was expecting something old and picturesque, but he took us to his friend's place, a modern facility, where rice was processed and stored in vast air-conditioned silos, because rice generates enormous amount of heat, and it has to be kept cool. Then he took us for another hour and a half to what he called the mini Switzerland of Thailand. After a full day out, he drove 3 hours back to his hometown of Chiang Rai. The next morning, he sent one of his employees on her day off to escort us. Imagine her day. She had to drive 3 hours to reach us and then 3 hours to take us back to Ta's hometown. We felt terrible about it. We suggested that we could use local transport, but he was insistent. "You are my guests," he kept repeating. "Plus, I would like you to meet my wife and sons." We didn't know what to expect. We'd already had a lot of trouble communicating with Ta. We knew no Thai, and his English was limited enough, so that even when he spoke, we often had to spend several minutes simply working out what had been said. A lot of the time we sat quietly in the car or tried to piece together meaning from the tone, the gesture, and the context. And now he was suggesting that we meet his wife and sons. So that's 3 more days trying to figure out what people are saying because they don't speak each other's languages. And this happens in countries where the people are really warm. You get trapped by the warmth. Anyway, we said yes. The family meeting was supposed to be at 10 a.m., but they said they couldn't come because of tennis. This confused us, but a lot of information was getting lost in the translation, so we just decided to go with the flow. But then at 3 p.m., suddenly I got a text saying the family was waiting for us in the lobby. Oof, a cancelled meeting and now a totally unexpected visit in the evening. But we decided, okay, let's keep going with it. And what a day it turned out to be. Ta's wife spoke English well enough, and the kids had no problem at all. The communication gap disappeared, and we had a great time. Dinner, the night markets. We had so much fun that we decided to meet up the next day for tea as well. But Ta was not done with us. We were headed for yet another 3-hour trip south. And once again, he informed us that he would pick us up, drive us to a hotel, and then make the return trip, 6 hours in all. This level of hospitality was too much even for us to bear. We thanked him profusely for all of his kindness, and we made our own arrangements. I think he might have even been relieved. But there we were in a place called Pranburi, a really nice seaside town with nobody in it. And that's when we had so much Caesar salad. My diet has been restricted since I had gout several years ago. Anything high in purines can trigger an attack. And Thailand, as it turns out, is one of the most treacherous places on the planet for a person trying to avoid purines. The reason is fish sauce. Fish sauce is in everything. You can order soup, curry, rice, or specifically ask for a vegetarian dish, and you will most likely get fish sauce anyway. It is made from fermented anchovies, sardines, which are both extremely high in purines. But here in Pranburi, in the south of Thailand, we found an unexpected ally, the hotel chef. He took it upon himself to create dishes specifically for us. And these were all local recipes made without fish sauce. Here's the thing. None of the dishes were on the menu. Since the dishes were not on the menu, they had no price. This created a dilemma. How was he going to charge us for the food? The chef's solution? Everything we ate was recorded as Caesar salad. For 7 days, every lunch and every dinner, Caesar salad. If you looked at our itemized bill for that stretch, you would see nothing but Caesar salad day after day. I'm sure there's an accountant somewhere who would have stared at that record, wondering what kind of people eat Caesar salad all day long. I'll tell you what kind of people eat Caesar salad all day long. They are people who wake up at 5 a.m. on holiday while at the beach. And that brings us to a very sudden end of this podcast. But there is part 2. Hang in there. The episode will show up next week. But what's happening in Psychotactics land? Well, we're on our way to Hong Kong and to Taiwan. It's going to be a month away, and we're going to have some workshops. One workshop, actually, a photo workshop. That's because I like photography so much. Also, there are going to be a couple of meetups. So if you're in the area or in an adjoining country, we'd love to see you there. Check out the events on the Psychotactics page, and you'll find everything there. Also, if you haven't read Suddenly Talented, this is a good time to do so. It shows you how to take photographs, to draw. Well, it doesn't exactly give you a template, but it shows you what's holding you back. So check out Suddenly Talented on the Psychotactics site, and I'll say bye for now. Bye-bye. Still listening? It's weird, but it's been a year since we were in Thailand. And it's only now that I'm getting to record this podcast. Sometimes I'll do it right after we get back, and sometimes it takes ages. Well, it's never taken this long. So once we finish the Thailand series, we'll go on to Greece, because we've just finished that. But even that has been 6 months ago. I really need to catch up with all of these travel podcasts. Bye for now, bye-bye, and see you in 5000 BC.